I'm hoping all this is working today. Had to go to a different browser. Hopefully the gods are with us. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be working so far. Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, everyone. So I think everything's working now. We got our laptop, which just gives us a little bit better quality sound and picture than our other one. So we just finished a four-part series of we're up in the Dawson area. It's Sharon and I. So kind of a little different for us because going up to Dawson, it is you're working with placer mining, so we didn't get to go underground up in Dawson. Also, we'd like to answer any questions that you guys have about that. Not we don't normally do placer mining. It kind of in a way it's kind of boring. It's like a bit like running a gravel pit. But the gold is kind of neat. So we don't usually see gold underground. Hi guys, how's everything going there? So yeah, a little different doing a show on a Saturday, but a little bit easier for you guys to do that. What did you hit your head on? I was doing we're actually restoring a tram in the shop. So I got a bunch of tram cars and we're straightening them out with a jack and had a 6x6 on there and it whacked me on the head, went flying in the air and smacked me. It didn't knock me out or nothing, just a little smack in the head. Yeah, so we ended up doing a four-part show up in Dawson, which was pretty cool. There's the neat thing about the Yukon is it's so far to truck stuff up there, and then they've been mining up there for a long time, and everything that they've ever taken up the Yukon is still up there. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff. Sharon will join me here in a minute. Who'd you vote for? Applesauce. Yeah, I'll vote for applesauce. Oh, okay. You're talking to somebody else. Hello from Berlin. Hi, how you guys doing? Hope the COVID things is find you guys all healthy and happy. So we're kind of waiting to see what goes on with that. We did quite a bit of traveling. Okay, we'll see a while back, and now we're just kind of going through all these shows that we went through in the fall. Chris from Seattle, how many times before? I just wanted to know. I've been doing a lot of exploring my own. And so another thing we're just going to talk to you quickly about. I was talking to a guy that and it's always been everyone's fantasy to go out and get a gold mine and do some mining. The truth of the matter is, like back in the old days, when you see all the stuff that we explore, miners used to they used to be able to just take if you found some good vein of stuff, you could just take it and take it to a local smelter, and they would smelt it, and you give the gold or the silver what's in there. They don't do it that way anymore. So the way mining's done now is they have a concentrator, right? So you don't just ship raw ore to a smelter. So even if you guys found some really good ore, there's nothing you can really do with it because there's no smelters left that do custom smelting anymore. So if I was out in somewhere, found a really cool vein to mine, got the rights to mine that, and took that ore out, there's nothing I could do with it. You'd have to ship it offshore somewhere to get it smelted. So yeah, so it's a little different. Wood or okay, I'll answer some questions here. Wood or coal power? I don't think they used coal in the Yukon much. It was mostly wood. We were looking at the one thing, and they said that there was a bunch of forest fires, and they had a bunch of birch that was dry, and they're using that for fuel, so that works fine. Hello, Sharon.
Good morning.
All right, so greetings from Austria. So good to see you guys tuning in from all around the world here, Ireland, Austria, and West Virginia. Yeah, all over the place. New York City. Hi, Sharon. How long has Sharon been exploring mines? Mines. I think he means mines. Well, you can answer that. They're asking you. How long have you been exploring mines?
1 year.
1 year, yeah. So yeah, it's been about a year since we went into our first mine together. Random guy, you should have brought me back a Terex dozer. Just throw it on the back of your truck. Yeah, it's the thing about in the Yukon, you see all kinds of oddball stuff. The reason is they go to the Ritchie Brothers auctions and they'll buy anything that's kind of big and ugly and cheap. So Terex is kind of obsolete. There's not many Terexes left around. And we saw some different trucks that were from Europe and all that. You don't see in North America. So anything that's kind of pretty cheap and big like that, especially big excavators and cats and stuff, they'll take up there. And then they just run the thing till the wheels fall off, and then they park it out back, which is why you see so much stuff in the boneyards up there, because they don't fix it. They just run it till it dies. Now, I'm a brewer. What's your favorite beer? not really all that fussy. Just like as long as it's got lots of alcohol in it, it's good. I know like most of, well, I'll drink anything. I'm not really that fussy. Good to see the boss lady join in. Yeah, she's remodeling the whole house here, so we got all these renovations. The Yukon videos are awesome. Where are you going to next? Actually, we're going to stay in the Yukon, but we're leaving the Dawson area. So the next place we're going to go to is at Keno City. So if you guys watch that show Gold Rush, so Rick Ness was at Keno. Keno's a cool place. It's a small place. There's only about 20 people that live in the town. Lots of cool mines in the area, and we're going to go back underground. Not real extensive underground mines, but there's lots of cool stuff there. So yeah, Keno, we're going to go 2 shows to Keno, and then we're going to go to Faro, and then to Carcross, and then so those are all in the Yukon, but more going further south and leaving the Dawson area. 3:20 a.m. there, Whackman. So that would be what, in Australia or something, or no? Or Railroad Preserver. So Railroad Preserver, you're the guy that give me those real cool those spinning icons and stuff of my logo when I first started the show, right? I think I haven't talked to you for a while, but I think that was you. I always looked at them the other day and I thought, oh, they were pretty cool. We're gonna have to work on another outro. I know Sharon's not that crazy about the one we have. She says, well, we've got to have a new one for the next season. So if you guys get any ideas about what we could do for the ending, we talked to the band that give us the music for that, and they want to give us some more music that their own stuff there. So maybe use that. The Addicts, they're the ones that provided the music for last year. It was really cool. So hopefully they give us a new track, and we're going to make a new outro for the 2021 season. The steam shovel across the river was awesome. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So we're trying to figure out now. Now it's a little bit complicated in the Yukon. They got some laws about some historic stuff, and we can't get them all sorted out. We can't get a straight answer from anyone in the Yukon as far as the government says. What are the laws in the Yukon? What can you take and what you can't? We'd like to actually rescue that steam shovel and maybe for a museum or something like that up there. I don't know. We couldn't really bring it all the way down south. So we'd like to try to do something with TV or something, get it out of there, get it saved and restored so that people could see it. Possibly maybe with that, the dredge that they have in the Yukon that the government was restoring, Parks Canada has, maybe that would be a good fit. But we're having a really hard time finding out what the laws are in the Yukon. Nobody will tell us. They'll say, well, you can't do this, and you can't do that. Where's the law? We're having a really, really difficult time with that. So we'd like to, if anybody knows anything about the laws in the Yukon, it's not just the laws this, the laws that. We need to read the actual statute and figure out. It's really difficult. Yeah.
$4.99.
Cool. Applesauce. Give me $4.99. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Cool. That's aren't bad. I tried to get, that's a super sticker, I think is what that is. I never knew what a super sticker was. It's some kind of a YouTube thing that I have on there. So so we got a bunch of other plans that we're doing. We're doing a lot of work in the museum and so we have a pretty large museum. We're going to do a show by the end of the year and we'll show you all the stuff that we have. But what we're planning on doing is building a full-size tram, gravity tram. There's none operating anywhere that I know of. So we're going to have in the yard, build a great big huge tram tower. So you could actually jump in one of the tram cars and it would take you down the tram to the bottom part so people can see how tram. We're working on that. We have the cars. We have 3 really nice, beautiful tram cars, 4 actually. And we got all the cable and everything. So we're working on doing that. So we'd like to have that for future generations so they can see what a tram. There was lots of trams in this country at one time. They hadn't been used for 100 years because cats and hoes and stuff made roads so much cheaper and easier to get up into the mines. Back in the old days, didn't have that around the turn of the century. So
Heath asked if I popped you in the eye.
No, she didn't pop me in the eye. She wouldn't do that. She's nice. Get up and give the video a thumbs up. All right, so
I think there's a dredge in Skagway, which is the base of operations for the White Pass and Yukon Railroad.
There was kind of dredges everywhere. They're not unique to the Yukon, but when we were up there, we saw 6 different dredges. So at one time there was about 15 operating there. But the other thing that's a little unique about the Yukon is stuff is really well preserved because it's really cold there, pretty cold there in the wintertime for a good part of the year. It's winter there. And then they get very little rain there, and it doesn't warm up all that much in the summer. So it really preserves wood. And you'll see when we get to Keno, there's a bunch of tram. There's a tram line there. When we fly along with the drone, there's like about 5 trams in a row, all just tram towers still standing there, over 100 years old. So pretty cool. All right, good morning, Frank. Sharon, good morning to you too. Sharon has a pretty smile. Make sure she stays safe. We will do our best. Thank you, sir. Was able to get out to Alaska this year and check out some of the gold machines up there. Absolutely incredible. See, we're not allowed to get in the States at all because the border's been closed down to COVID. So we're not allowed, apparently can fly in the States, but that wouldn't really do us much good, because we can't get all our equipment in there. So I'm kind of stuck to Canada this year. We've got a bunch of stuff that I shot with Gly and stuff last year. I was there for 5 months, so I got so much stuff I never used. So when we run out of stuff that Sharon and I have been filming in Canada this year, which will be a while, it'll be into, I don't know, January, February. We've got a bunch of stuff we can show you that we did shoot down in Arizona last year that we haven't used yet. So don't get excited if you see it down in Arizona, it's from last year. Find more stuff left behind. Do you ever try to find lost, undocumented mines? No, I don't. I have a hard enough time finding out about the ones that I know, but it's hard to find good mines to go into as it is. Hey, Frank, that topped a Spanish monument.
Toppled Spanish monument.
You toppled a Spanish monument?
That toppled Spanish monument you use for your exit is awesome.
I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway. Have you heard of the KGF gold mines? I have not. Kohler Goldfields, India. No, I have not.
Alberta has long claimed largest rat-free area, yet in your explorations, lots of rats. Have you explored any Alberta mines?
Well, what they mean by rat-free is they mean the European rats, like the Norway rats, the ship rats that eat grain and stuff like that. I'm sure there's pack rats in Alberta. They're native. They're everywhere in the bush there. So I'm sure there's pack rats in Alberta. They don't really call that a rat, even though it is a rat. But they're not, they're not the type of rats that breed like rats in cities and eat the grain and do a bunch of damage. They're just bush rats, right? And a lot of people say they're chinchillas and this and that, but no, they're rats. Have you ever thought about getting your mine photography displayed or sold? You can send Sharon money. She'll. I don't know. Yeah, no, she's getting better and better at it. So at the end of the videos, she's always got her camera along when we're on our explorations. So we just kind of try to pick, a dozen or so pictures of some of the better ones that she had from that particular explorer, and then we just put them in the end. So people really like that. So we'll continue doing that. Take her to Antioch, Frank. Antioch's a difficult place to get to. It's from here to drive to Antioch, it's 2 days of driving, so 4 days altogether, drive there and back, and then also 60-mile boat trip, and it's difficult. Are you still planning on doing a TV series? Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff on in the kind of irons in the fire. We did. There's another TV show. It's a brand new show coming out. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called Backroads Truckers. It'll be out in the new year. So we filmed an episode with them. So we took them underground, and we'll tell you what we all did there. But yeah, we took them underground. So that's cool. You'll see that. And there's a bunch of other stuff that's kind of coming down the pipe that they're working on. There's a new TV show that's called Reclaimed or something, and we watched it. It was on Discovery the other day. It was terrible. It's just a bunch of drama and bullshit. I mean, I can't believe that people would actually watch that. Why don't they keep it real? There's so much interesting stuff underground. I don't know why they need to go on about all this financial stuff and the drama and all this other BS. But all the TV shows seem to be like that. And we're not going to get involved with that. We're just we're not going to make a lot of drama and a lot of malarkey out of it. There's a lot of interesting stuff about these mines. We just want to try to keep it real. Suggest some great movies on mines. Yeah, there's one called The Legend of Ruby Rose or something like that. I can't remember. We got it somewhere. Yeah, I think it's called The Ruby Rose or something like that. It was a pretty cool, and I got a working tram in it, which I thought was really neat. That was a good movie. No, Legend of Ruby Silver, I think it's called. The reason I asked, I do photography as a hobby along my videos, and one of my photos got selected for display at a major gallery and ended up being sold. Yeah. It's another thing. We don't know how we would do that, and we're pretty busy doing other stuff, so I don't know what to say about it. Do you ever think about having guided tours to Antioch? There are guided tours to Antioch. If you Google Antioch tours, there's a guy, his name's Rob, and he works with a university, and he takes people up there in his jet boat and stuff, and not underground that much. I took him underground. He'd never been underground before, but Antioch is it's a difficult place to get to, and so. If somebody wants to go to Antioch, we can go to Antioch, but it's awful expensive. So, you have to fly in there with a beaver, or get in there with a jet boat, or fly in a helicopter, or whatever. There's lots of different ways you can get to Antioch. So none of them would be cheap. The episode where you take a helicopter to the top of the mountain and explore the mines is still one of my favorites. Awesome job. Yeah, that's the Porter, Idaho. It's up by Stewart. Just a fascinating. It was just a lot of fun flying up there, the chopper, and getting up there. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And Sharon, never been in a helicopter much, so you enjoyed that too. So I did fly in helicopters when I was a fire warden a fair bit. So, but it never gets old. Hey, Drummond, sadly, a lot of shows are like that. It's always about the money. There has to be some, what's at stake, and it has to be some kind of a money thing and all that. We don't do this for money. We do it partially because we're building a museum and to try to document it, and we just enjoy the exploration of it. But I know that's not good enough for TV, right? You have to be making some money somehow. And I've taken a lot of stuff that I've kind of saved in the countryside and given some of it to museums and kept some for my own museum. I've never sold anything, and I kind of think that I don't want to ever do that. But they always want to make it about the money, and that So, but it's kind of sad. There's more to life than just making money. I mean, you got to put food on the table to understand that, but not everything revolves around money, I don't think. Would you like to be a miner? I would like to work at a mine. The experience of being underground, somewhat, not especially. It's probably romanticized quite a bit. There's some cool stuff about it. It's hard to say. I mean, I'd like to try it. Everest is hard to get to, but look how many people go up there. That's true. They spend probably 100,000 a piece going up there. So, what do you do your head bone? Oh, I was just doing a little work on. Was destroying an ore cart that was bent, and I had a block in there, the jack, and the block slipped and hit me in the head. Still flying, Frank. We had some issues with the power parachute, and it was kind of back and forth, and we haven't been home for a long time, and so we decided to kind of just park it till the springtime, and we need to get that. It's not a very good time of year to be flying that power parachute, so we'll get back to that in the springtime. We'll fly it some more.
Where is Purple Springs, Alberta?
I don't know. I never heard of it. What's the oldest mine you've ever explored? Probably in Zacatecas, Mexico. So there's some old mines about 500 years old. Lovely wife. Lucky men you are. She's not mad.
Have you ever been close to having no lights in a mine?
No, we try to avoid that. We go in with 3 or 4 lights and plus the camera lights and stuff. So I've never. That would be one of the stupidest things you could do, is probably going to a mine with a cell phone for a light or something and then being stuck in the dark. So. Have
you ever done any gold mining or panning?
No, I did a little bit of panning. Sharon did some panning when we were up in the Yukon. So hard. So mostly we explore underground mines, right? So we don't get into the placer too much, even though we did up in Dawson there. We kind of showed you that a little bit. So that's how you get gold out of gravel and stuff. But most of the gold comes from hard rock mines. It's microscopic, and the procedure for that is basically you have to grind it really fine, and then use flotation to get it out, and then ship it to a smelter, which is one reason why there's no real operating gold mines anymore. There's no smelters left, so there's nothing. Even if we did find some gold, you couldn't do anything with it because there's no smelters unless you ship it offshore.
They say, what would you love to have in your museum that you currently don't?
I don't know. That's a really good question. So we try to kind of get one of everything, so we don't have like a whole bunch of the same things. So we have So well, I know some people say we're hoarding stuff, but we don't do that. There's all kinds of stuff that we see underground all the time that just stays there or wherever. We don't take it out because we already have one of those for the museum, so we don't take more than one. I don't know. I guess you keep seeing unique stuff that you've never seen before, so it's always interesting. I can't really think of just off the top of my head of anything that I'm really looking for. But yeah.
Somebody's asking about if you're going to explore around Death Valley. That's kind of where we were going to go last year.
Yeah. So the problem is we can't get in the States this year. So we kind of went through Death Valley along the edge. We went through Atolia there.
Yeah.
So it's someplace we're going to go back in the future. We like to do a bunch of exploring in the California, Death Valley, and Nevada and stuff. There's just a huge amount. There's all kinds of people that ask us, have you ever been to copper mines in Michigan or Pennsylvania or something like that? And I have to look on a map. I don't even know where that is. But it's thousands and thousands of miles all the way across on the other coastline. I doubt if anytime soon we would ever go there. There's so many. Most of the mining was in the West and the Midwest, and there's so many cool mines and stuff. I kind of doubt we would ever go that far east. But yeah, there's so much stuff to see. Even though the BLM and stuff is trying to close a lot of stuff and all that, there's still so much up there. It'll be good for probably as long as I'm alive, I think, before they wreck everything. Maybe a little bit harder to find a lot of stuff than it used to be, but there's still lots of great stuff out there. Did you keep any of the Levi jeans you found? No, the deal was that we made a deal with a mine owner that he said we could explore the mine. He owned the mine. I told him he could, anything we found, we'd give to him for his museum, and that's what we did. We didn't keep anything. So yeah, he didn't even say thanks to us. So, but whatever. That's his choice. But we got some great video out of it. So that was our main. We wanted to explore it, document it, and get some great video, and we're very successful in that. So we don't get too focused on how much the jeans are worth. They weren't ours, so it don't matter to us. And the early shows used to use rope ladders. You still have it. It wasn't a rope ladder. It's a chain ladder. It was like a fire escape ladder. We had it out. It's still there. No, the ropes are just much easier. It's heavy and difficult to operate. We didn't have the technology or didn't know how to climb straight up ropes, which we do all the time now. It's far easier and safer.
You ever fallen through a false floor? I
have fallen through a false floor, but it wasn't very far. It was only about 8 feet down, but it was quite a shock actually. You fall through and you hit the water and go through. It wasn't a surprise, and I knew the false floor wasn't good. And I could see underneath there. I knew I wasn't going to fall any further than that, so it kind of took more of a chance than I would have normally. And it ended up falling in the mud or the water or what it was. I can't remember which mine that was. So it was a Highlander up in Ainsworth.
Have you ever been so lost in a mine you didn't think you'd make it out?
It's probably been lost for maybe about 20 minutes or so. What happens if you go to a mine and you can stick to the right-hand rules, but then if you start going up slopes and then slopes going up and down and sideways and different things, sometimes it's a little difficult to find how to get out of the slope. Which seems kind of funny, but some of them are so large that it's difficult. So it could take like maybe 20 minutes or a half hour or something to kind of figure your way back out. If you go the wrong way, you get into dead end areas. Like not a lot of the slopes will go down and there'll be an ore chute at the bottom, but it's probably plugged, and then you got to go somewhere else. You didn't go the right place, so sometimes it gets a little difficult. But nothing. If you got lots of lights and stuff with you, it's not any kind of a big panic. Just don't get excited and keep calm.
Are most of the mines you explore hard rock mining, where they have to pulverize rock for ore?
Yeah, practically all of them are. Yeah. Did you try the sourdough cocktail in Dawson? No, that's kind of a tourist thing. They have a toe and you drink a glass of whiskey and spit the toe or something. But no, we didn't do that. Most of the hard rock mines. Yeah, the only other mines are placer mines, right? So the stuff we explored in Dawson are placer mines. There wasn't any hard rock mines there. It's all placer. So, but that's an exception, right? So we don't normally deal with placer mines. Like on Gold Rush, that's all placer mining. It's not, there's no hard rock mines. And I talked to the producers and stuff. We ran into them when we were in Keno. They were filming Gold Rush there. So I had a good chat with the producer. I said, why don't you guys ever go underground? It's way more interesting than what you're doing on the surface. Gold Rush is like as what exciting as operating a gravel pit there. They just dump a huge amount of gravel in the wash plant and the wash the rocks and a little bit of gold pops out. He's it's too dangerous. No. Anyways, you ever come across other explorers in a remote mine that you didn't know were in the mine before you went in? I said no, but Sharon reminded me on a couple occasions. I ran into some miners one time in Sandon that were mining there. They were really surprised to see me. They thought I was a ghost because I come out of an area that was blocked off and they didn't know it connected to other mines. And one time we were up in Phoenix, there was a couple guys wandering around there. I think we ran into, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So not often, it has happened. But we've been in hundreds of mines, right? So ever been scared in the mines? Well, mostly, if you go on a rope and it's dark and you're going down, I don't know if scared's the right word. Like, your blood pressure has kind of gone up when your heart rate's it's exciting, I guess. I don't know if that's scared.
Yeah.
Sharon's been scared. um, have you ever had a local give you the entrance to the Hollow Earth story? No, we haven't. We know a little bit about that. Some of the TV people were talking about it. I'm familiar with the concept. Would you say a lot still have good ore, but logistics make it undesirable? I would say no to both of those because when a mine was operating, people were they spent a lot of money to develop a mine, and basically in most cases they got the ore that was economically viable to mine, and then they abandoned the mines. So the price of minerals is about the same as it was then, just for inflation. So there's a little bit of ore in some mines, but there's no way to do anything with it. I mean, you would have to set up the mines that are the mines that are operating now that are profitable are very large open pit mines that have actually pretty low ore values, but consistent and a lot of it. So they're able to mine a huge amount and set up a mill and all that and do that. The mines that we explore, they're like small little pockets compared to that. So I would say no. I wouldn't get too excited about any ore or in any mines that I've ever seen.
It's Zabellus mines.
The what?
Zabellus.
Zabellus?
Yeah.
It's on the island. I haven't been there. Someone asked about Tommy knockers. I don't believe in, let's see, I don't believe in ghosts, Easter Bunny, or Santa Claus, God, or what? You don't believe in the Easter Bunny? Have you ever done any mines in WI? I don't even know what WI is. Wisconsin. I've never been there. Whatever it is. Wisconsin? No, I've never been there. Are most of the gold mines underground or open cast nowadays? I mean, open pit. Virtually all open pit, with the exception of there's mines in third world countries that are underground. Small ones, obviously. There are a couple of fair-sized operations. One in the eastern part of Canada that's underground, very deep, and in South Africa there's some really deep gold mines. But the vast majority of them are open pit mines. And the other thing is that there's a little bit of gold practically in every type of ore. So the larger open pit mines that are maybe a copper mine or a silver mine, there'll be some gold values in there also, and then then they can get them out too, right? Have you ever found a room in a mine that's well preserved that you didn't want to film it or take pictures, that nobody would come looking to disturb it, such as a time capsule? No, I've never. I might not tell people where it is, but there's never. Usually stuff isn't that well preserved in a mine. That we see so much stuff in the mines that is just completely rotted or rusted. There's nothing left. You just touch it, it'll just crumble. Occasionally something, for some reason, it just seems to be perfectly preserved. It's kind of odd. There's kind of microclimates in the mines, so you're just seeing less and less stuff that's still in good shape in mines. It's been so long. Have you ever been to Cerro Gordo mines? No, I haven't. I remember hearing about them. I don't know where they are.
That was like Tucson or something.
Maybe returning to Utah at some point. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. We don't know of a lot of stuff other than around Eureka. There's some cool mines there, and of course we got threatened by the mine owners and their attorneys and all that. But that's neither here nor there. That doesn't bother me that much. There were some cool mines there. Yeah, I don't know. We go to the States sometime after the border opens next year. I don't know where, possibly. The very best way for us, if somebody says, they live in a certain place and we're in that area, and they said, you come with me and I'll show you where this mine is, and we go to that mine together. That's the very best scenario for us because people say, oh, okay, there's lots of mines near some town or something, but you go there and it's actually a lot of work. Sometimes it takes a long time to find anything that's any good, that's not caved in, or the road's any good, or it's not fenced off, or whatever to get into. So it's just difficult. Do you explore coal mines? Not normally. We went into one coal mine, the Bellevue mine or something, but it was part of a tour, and then there was hundreds of miles of old workings in there, and then they said we can go into the mining engineer, but he was kind of too chicken, didn't want to go in too far, so we were in that mine a little bit. But normally, no, we normally wouldn't go in coal mines because there's all kinds of toxic gases and stuff there. It's a lot way more dangerous than hard rock mines and soft material and whatnot. So normally we wouldn't go into coal mine. Certainly not by ourselves. Maybe with a guide or part of some tour or something like that. Maybe not normally. Ever been underground when a cave-in has happened? Well, lots of times when you're underground, if you touch the top of the mine and it's loose, you'll have some little stuff caving in. So I don't know if that's really a cave-in. Yeah, a little bit. Nothing serious. So it was very important just not to touch anything because usually if there's anything that moves or in a mine, you've caused it. So be careful. Just keep your fingers off everything. Even like a rotten timber, you could just lean against it and it could be ready to rot, and then the thing falls off, and then stuff could fall down. So very important not to touch anything. How about a Sasquatch? Well, more malarkey like Tommy Mockers, Easter Bunny, and whatever else the other list there. What got you into exploring mines? How long have you been doing it for? About 6 years now. So when I moved down here from Fort St. John, and I was flying my plane over the mines at Phoenix here. There's huge mines here, and it just looks like a kind of honeycomb from the air. And then you look down there, like, holy geez! I remember, I kind of explored some mines when I was a kid, a little bit, well, in my 20s, and I went there and I figured out, well, I went and checked it out and started making videos of it, and I haven't quit yet. Cerro Gordo's near Death Valley, so no, we haven't been in there, but there's lots of cool adventures on the horizon, and hopefully we'll be in that area at some point. Watched a movie last night. Good for you. Coal mine's very dangerous. Yeah. So you got a lot more toxic gases and stuff because see, coal is an organic substance, which means that it's actually taking the oxygen out of the air to decompose. So then you run into trouble with oxygen. That's the most common reason why you'd have oxygen deficient environments. It'd be fun if you go again with Gly, Mr. M, and et al. And crew. Yeah, so one of these days we'll hook up with them guys again if we can catch up with them. If your son's still going with you, enjoyed them. Yeah, no, he hasn't. He was supposed to come up last April, but he couldn't because the airlines stopped flying. So maybe he'll be up here this spring. When I was a boy, I went to explore an old mine near me and almost fell down a slope that was covered by leaves and branches. Well, that's another thing. A lot of people say, well, they see an open hole. She says, oh, why don't they cover that up? Well, that's actually more hazardous because if there's a big hole, you can go up there and you can see where the hole is, and you're not going to step on it, I wouldn't think. But if it's got, some rotten woods or something over there, you could walk over it and fall through it. So. Answer some questions. Ask her some questions. Getting tired of me talking?
You're doing a fine job.
You ever visited natural gas or oil well? Well, when I lived on a ranch out in Fort St. John, I worked in the oil patch, and we had gas and oil wells on our property. So,
what did you do for a living before you started exploring?
I was a cattle rancher for 20 years and worked in the oil patch, trucking, and had sawmills and all kinds of stuff.
What is an MSHA class?
Ever taken an MHA mine safe? No, I haven't. So I mean, I don't mind. I'm not a mine operator. So yeah. I'm from Copper Creek, Alaska. Hello. Have you ever visited the Nutty Putty Cave? No, we don't go into caves much. We've been in a few caves, the Cody Caves, but caves, I don't remember that of much interest to me because there's nothing historical in it. It's just a hole in the ground.
Have you ever found a grave or memorial underground?
No, I never have. No, the coolest graveyard we ever saw was up in Antioch, which was pretty neat. They because they were up there when they were mining around the time of the First World War. So all the servicemen that went up there that served and came back when they died, they had a helmet, they had a cast out of concrete, and then it was a war helmet, and they put that on their graves. It was kind of cool.
Would you ever visit UK sometime? Wales has some awesome mines.
Well, again, like people always say that, there's all kinds of cool mines in Great Britain or Ireland or a different place, but I mean, you fly out there, where would you stay? How would you get around? How would you find them? It's very expensive and difficult to do that. It's a lot easier for us to jump in our truck and drive 2 miles south in the States where there's thousands of mines. Yeah. So do you ever operate cat machinery? If yes, please review their products. Oh yeah. I mean, I run cats and stuff all my life. I've owned D2s, several sixes, D6D, D6C, and run sevens, eights, tens. A cat, it's my favorite line of heavy equipment. We had to run cat engines and trucks and stuff too.
What's the deepest you've ever been in a mine?
There was a mine that was 3,000 feet deep. It was the Remac, but you can only get 15 feet before you hit water. So stitches, I didn't get no stitches.
Just
stitches,
just a bonk.
Stitches are for sissies. Once it starts bleeding, you don't need to get stitches on. Since you frequent mines so much, taking a mine safety class would be informative and beneficial. Not really. It's completely different. It's exploring mines is sort of like say like you go to somewhere where they're logging. If you go to an active site where they're logging, there'd be fowler bunchers and a cat and a hose building roads, and trees are crashing down, they're skidding stuff and loading trucks and all that kind of stuff, and there's procedures and that, and how to stay away from this and all that. If you went there after work, whatever, and just kind of walked around there and all the machines are parked and stuff, the dangers are completely different. So there's a huge difference between being inside an operating mine and all the procedures and the explosives and the trains and having to watch out for rocks coming down ore chutes and lockout procedures and that, and just walking through an abandoned mine. So it's kind of almost two different things.
What's Frank's favorite food?
I'm not fussy.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, we were up here one time. The Lexington mine was operating, and I get along good with the miners there. So they're having lunch. We were all sat down in the lunchroom there, and I brought my lunch and coffee and was chatting with them guys. And I asked them, I says, "Well, have you been to this mine? Have you been to that mine? Because there's a whole bunch of abandoned mines that they own." And they just kind of looked at me. He says, "Oh no, we'd never go in those mines. He says, we'll just watch you." So I thought it was funny. He says, "You guys are miners and you're scared to go in mines." He says, "Well, it's just a whole different kettle of fish." Yeah. What's Sharon's favorite thing about exploring mines besides being around me? Somebody's trying to put you on the spot. What's your favorite thing about exploring mines? You like taking pictures?
Yeah, I like adventures. I love the rope work.
She doesn't like being left behind.
Yeah, it's scary down there. Yeah, it's fun.
She likes doing the rope work, especially going down. She likes doing rope work. Enjoys that, the challenges of the knots and all that kind of stuff. Ever get frisky in a mine? No. We're usually preoccupied with other things. Oh, you have a secret admirer. Mike loves you. I love you too, honey. I'll have to arm wrestle Mike for you. Ghost Town living as a YouTuber. He bought this Cerro Gordo Ghost Town. You might ask him if he could visit. I've kind of heard of that. Have you ever heard of the Sunset Mine in Washington? No, I don't know. I don't think so. There is all kinds of mines in Washington. We're only half a mile from the border. I can look across there and see the border. Actually, I could show you Washington if you want to see Washington's right. There it is right there. See, that's Washington. There's the museum and there's Washington. But like I say, the border's closed and we can't get down there. So me and Mike he's researched quite a bit of stuff that we were over at the First Thought mine and the Talisman mine last fall before I went to the States, or a year ago, I guess. We need more merchandise, Frank. Well, Sharon's kind of dealing with that, but she's got a lot of other things on her plate. But her and her daughter Robin kind of do that. I don't have much patience for all this computer stuff. So she keeps talking about coffee cups. Maybe we'll see some someday.
I'll get it.
She's the one that actually is dealing with the stickers and all that. So a lot of people ordered them, but we still got lots of them around here. Nobody seems to want them anymore. So you get some interesting stuff, and then you got stuck with it a little bit, I guess. Pardon the pun. Monitoring bats still. No, they had a whole bunch of money, I guess, that they was wanting to spend and doing that. So they hired me to do a bunch of that, but you don't seem to be doing anything with bats anymore. The big concern was there was a whole bunch of bats back east in little brown bats that died because of white nose syndrome. We don't have many of those type of bats here. We have different varieties here, and there hasn't been any white nose syndrome found in BC. So they got a whole bunch of money to research a whole bunch of this stuff, but it hasn't been a problem since. So we have never seen white road. There was a lot of predictions that we're going to lose our bats and all that, but none of that ever happened. So it kind of petered out. So good news, bats in BC are in good shape. Back east in the States and in Canada, that it decimated a lot of the populations, but they seem to be doing fine here. And actually, the other thing is, since we started going up at Phoenix 5 years ago, when I first started exploring there was Townsend's bats, and we found the largest hibernate population they know of Townsend's bats. Anyway, there's thousands of them up there. And they seem to be doing better every year. Every year I go up there, there's more there. So that's kind of a good news story. And that's one thing that's kind of saving the mines here a little bit, because companies can't just go in and bulldoze all the entrances shut anymore, because if they're bat habitat, they're wrecking the habitat of the bats and the rats too, I guess. And it's also for different insects. There's moths and dandelion long legs, lots of them in some of the mines. So there's different, it is important habitat for different animals. First mine explored and the favorite mine. The first mine I was ever in was called the Noble 5. When I was about 25, I was in it. And there was a huge streak of galena way up on this raise that I got and had it for years. My house burned down. I lost a little sample, but that was really cool. And actually, that's where I developed the right-hand rope. So my favorite mine, I don't know. It's hard. I like big mines, so not that like big, extensive, and old mines. Those are my favorite types. And there's lots of cool ones. Like Phoenix is pretty cool. There's like 10 miles of tunnels and lots of cool old stuff. And I don't know. You'd ask me on a different day, I'd say another mine was my favorite. Probably maybe Phoenix. I like that. It's probably my favorite one. Yeah, bats beware of Corona. Have you ever been in a mine that you felt your lives were in danger? I don't know. I guess Sharon and I were in a pretty nasty mine out of Weimar. We were down about 600 feet and it was wet and we were coming up and it was really tired. We had a really tough day because a bunch of ropes got snagged. Had to go back and down, so we had to go up and down quite a few times, or I did, anyways. And it was just a real tired day. And they had a big rock about this big. It hit me right in the shoulder here because it was steep up and it was loose in there. And that kind of scared me a little bit. And then I said, we shouldn't have went into there, and we're not going to go any more of those. I hope. How much for a hotel room close to your museum? So we have some hotels here. I think they're, I don't know, about $100 Canadian or something. It'd be about $75 US. Stuff is more expensive in the States than it is here. So, what's the scariest mine you've explored? I don't really know. I don't know. There've been in hundreds of. I don't know. I'm not really scared in mines, so. well, a little bit here and there, but not too bad. What kind of precautions do you take in case of injury or emergency? Well, I guess the precautions you take is not to get injured. uh, I get more injured. I got a big whack on the head now. Let's see, I get more injured in the shop than I do in the mines. I've never really been injured. The odd thing, but nothing really. So the one thing is we have a spot tracker. So if we're in the back country, you could push that. There's no cell phone service, and you could reach 911 or whatever. Search and rescue would call you. I've never had to use it, obviously, but yeah. What qualifications you need for working inside mines in America? Depends what kind of job you're doing. If you're doing blasting, you need blasting tickets and whatnot. I don't really know. I'm not a miner, so just joining the stream now. Love your videos. Please keep safe and keep doing your thing. Well, thanks. We will try to do both. Did you learn a lot from your days working on an excavator? No. Actually, I learned more about geology from different people that are on the show that showed me different things. Geology is actually a pretty complex topic. There's a lot of people talk that they know more than they actually do. Mineralization is it really changes from area to area. So even a geologist that was say worked for mining companies and knows these different formations here, he would go somewhere else and he'd pretty much have to start all over again. So it's very specialized knowledge, complex too, and it's changed over times. Like lots of times they had different theories about how minerals got formed or different things, and then later on it was all wrong. So it's kind of like the COVID thing in a way. Love your channel. Great grandpa died in a coal mine. The whole family worked in coal mines, and the coal mines are the very most dangerous mines, and not only from the poisonous gases, but also a lot of explosions and fires and stuff in there too. So no mining in West Texas. Well, then we're not going there. Yeah, well, we may anyways, but first aid kit, pack of Band-Aids, tube of super glue in a Ziploc bag, but a little scratch or something ain't gonna kill you anyways. So we just don't carry a lot of stuff underground because everything's heavy. So do you ever carry one of those lithium battery packs in the backup to recharge your lights? No, we usually take 2 or 3 lights with us, and they last for a long time. But this I can't remember this guy's name. I should know this, but this guy gave us a real cool UV light, which you'll see in some. I don't remember his name, in some future shows, and he gave me some extra batteries, so we're gonna just take them along. And those lithium batteries are just awesome. They last a long time, and they're interchangeable in a bunch of other devices. Have you ever run into bears in a mine? No, we never have. I was in a mine one time, and there had been a bear that was hibernating in there, but he was gone because you could see the bed and you could smell it. But when they're hibernating, they're kind of groggy or something. They're not going to be much of a problem, and they don't hang around in the mines in the summertime, so wouldn't be too much of a problem. You ever been to the 16-to-1 mine in California? I have not. No. And TVR, no, I've never explored anything with him. Have you ever done any dump digging or bottle digging? We have a whole bunch of bottles in our museum, so you don't get too carried away with it because you can have a whole museum full of old bottles. But yeah, so we got some cool bottles. The only bottles we really keep now are embossed ones that have the writing on them. They're kind of the coolest ones. Otherwise, you just get so many bottles. You can get sidetracked into these other end of things pretty easy. So we're trying to stick just with the mining history and explain to people how mines operated and how it was worked, and show some of the artifacts and tools and stuff. We're kind of trying to concentrate on that a little bit more, even though we do have pretty good collection of minerals, samples, and bottles and stuff like that. And the same thing with the minerals. As we get some cooler minerals and stuff, we just throw the other ones out. we got a whole bunch in our yard by the side of the house. There's all kinds of cool stuff. They kind of go there. So you look up, so well, this one's way better. So you kind of have to pick and choose, right? Love the artifacts you encounter in mines. What's the best artifact you've seen in a mine? Best things I've seen in Welsh mine is a wooden cane. Crane. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to pick. We've seen so much cool stuff. I don't know what. How you. I like the explosive boxes, dynamite. Anything to do with explosive signs, that kind of things I like. How long have we been together? We've been together all day. Oh, a little over a year. New to the channel. Where's your museum? It's right. I'll show you. It's right there. So we live in Grand Forks, British Columbia, Canada. So that's where the museum is. Have you seen 100,000 lumen flash? I have not, and probably wouldn't be any good to us. You find with the light, you need enough light, because what happens with your camera slows down. So the camera usually runs about 60 frames per second, but if it doesn't have enough light, it slows down. So if you look at some of my older videos where the video quality is poor, well, I got better cameras now, but the reason is the camera starts slowing down, less frames per second. So you need enough light, but if you have too much light, then you'll see it on some other stuff. When we had lights that were different lights we tried, then it washes it out and it reflects too much. So you need the right balance. You need enough light, but not too much light. So bigger is not necessarily better as far as lights go anyhow.
Is everything in your museum stuff you found yourself?
No, it isn't. We bought lots of stuff off eBay and stuff like that. So, people that complain about it. So we're grateful, people pick stuff up. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever seen old videos of ghost towns and all that. Wouldn't it be cool if you can go down to some of these ghost towns and all this stuff is still there, and you go down there, they're all gone. There's nothing left. There's hardly any buildings or anything left. And it's good that people have picked up some of this stuff, and you can get it on YouTube or on eBay or whatever, and for museums and the coolest story that I got about, because I don't know, go on about this too much, but there's a few people who bitch about stuff that I take, artifacts and stuff. Not many, but for some reason it kind of bugs me that they're arguing about it. But I was in a mine one time, and there was a hit and miss engine. It was all rusty and stuff. And a guy seen it on one of my videos, and he went and got it. And this guy took and cleaned this whole thing up, sandblasted it all, took it all apart, got it all operating. Now it's an operating hit and miss engine. It probably would have just, it was all rusted and everything. Probably would have collapsed and would have lost it forever. And I think, well, good for him, So he saved that for future generations, and I'm glad he did. I don't have a problem with it. Any new finds? Yeah, we just watch our video at the end of the year. We've done a lot of work on the museum. We've got lots of cool stuff, and so yeah. Do you ever play with iOS settings on your camera? No, I don't. Basically, it just everything's automatic on it. So don't fool around with it. What's the furthest you've descended to mine? 1,500 feet into the Remac was the deepest I've ever been. Do you plan on open an eBay site to offer mineral samples to help support your channel? No, I don't. No, I'm not going to do that. The reason is people complain about me taking. Some people complain about me taking artifacts, but frankly, most of the mines we go into, someone has the mineral rights to it. So if you they don't have any rights to the artifacts. You own them. You own the minerals. So if you actually take minerals from mines and sell them on eBay, you are actually stealing. So, and it just kind of gets us sidetracked anyhow. What we're doing is not really all about the money. We appreciate you guys, giving us a little bit of money and buying our merchandise, watching our videos. We make pretty good money off the YouTube videos. So just, you guys actually liking our videos helps us out quite a bit. It doesn't cost you guys nothing. So we don't feel that we need to increase our revenues or from our viewers. I used to have a collection of old shovels. I collect it. Yeah, we have a pretty good collection of shovels and axes. There's people that collect axes, so we didn't used to take any axes, but we got a pretty good collection of them, and people like them. So, so you ever go back to flying, fixing your plane? Well, I don't have any planes anymore. I just have that powered parachute. So every once in a while, I kind of miss flying a little bit. And Sharon did some flying in a what were you flying in?
Stearman.
And a steerman, right? So there's an open cab, and she was flying upside down. Made a little bit of it. She enjoys flying a lot. And every once in a while, we sit around and have a couple beers. Say, oh, I should buy another plane. You should get your pilot's license. But I don't know if it'll ever happen. Love the channel. No cool mines or abandoned sites here in Oklahoma. Always been curious. You're descending to a mine quickly enough to feel the pressure difference in your ears. I haven't. No. I suppose it's possible. What's the most surprising thing you've seen up in the Yukon? Probably the historic stuff, the bones and stuff, the tusks of the because in the muskeg there's all kinds of stuff frozen in there. So stuff from mining and actually from the last ice age, before the last ice age. So that's pretty surprising to see, bones and skulls and stuff from prehistoric animals. Why are comments off? They're not. I'm reading your comment, so I don't see how they'd be off. What's a big black arch on the end of your video located? Somewhere in the States, I can't remember, in Arizona somewhere. And we've seen quite a few of those. And what they were is the Spanish, when they first came and they located a bunch of mines, they made those arches for landmarks. So they could, because a lot of the desert's kind of featureless and stuff. So if they had a ridge, they blasted a hole through it and they used it to locate for landmarks. You ever tried metal detecting for coins, etc.? I don't know. I kind of make fun of people that do that. I think it's an old man's sport. When I think I get too old to get in mines, maybe I'll start doing that. I'm getting old. No, we kind of fooled around with magna fishing a little bit. Off some of the, we didn't find that much stuff. And the metal detecting, just find nails and stuff. I haven't. It's just another thing that maybe I will do one day. I haven't. I've got a metal detector, hardly ever used it. I've thought about using scuba gear to get deeper into flooded mines. Yeah, so we did. Sharon and I were in a mine that we went into kayak, and that was another question that we didn't answer. So we haven't got a lot more stuff we can kayak into. If we can find some, we will. And we lost a GoPro, so we couldn't get the GoPro. So we hired a local diver to go to get it because we figured the film would probably be pretty good. And it turns out he was down 35 feet. He couldn't find it. It's another shaft that goes down. So he wanted me to get my diving thing, and we were going to do some diving. So we might be doing some scuba diving in the future. So we'll see. This guy's a commercial diver, right? So we might be doing that in the future. Probably more likely to do it. Maybe it was going to be on TV or whatever, because I don't know. We'll see what happens, but we might be doing some. There's your question for Sharon. Where were you born and raised in Red Deer? If not, where are you from? Greetings from Edmonton.
I was born and raised in Golden, BC.
So she says she's not in Alberta. She's just visiting there for the last 35 years till she moved back to BC. Best wishes from Los Angeles, California. Hi to Los Angeles. I've been to LA, but LA in Canada's Lethbridge, Alberta. I wouldn't want to go there, but I was scared of it. You're there, and the traffic and the craziness and stuff there. I think I'm not really much for big cities. Okay. Ethan sent me $5. Thank you for answering your question. You're welcome. Who packs the food? How much food do you bring? What kind of food? Well, that'd be a Sharon question. I just eat. I'm in the eating department.
I like lots of water.
Yeah. I'm like a Campbell. I have a bunch of coffee before I go, and I'm good for the day. So, hello from Red Deer. How much snow is there in Red Deer?
Sweet. Hi.
That's one of the things we enjoy here. We look at the temperature and how much snow is here, and then we look how much there is in Red Deer, and it shows kind of smiles. Yeah. So, how much beer can you fit in the side by side? Well, I usually take beer in the side by side, and it gets all. And I don't drink beer in the mines normally either, because if I drink it too much, I swear too much. So that's a lot more work to do the editing after. I don't really drink that much beer anyhow. I usually just have a couple in the afternoon. We're not really that. As you get older, you kind of slowing down a little bit, I guess. Maybe drank a little more when I was younger. It's always fun to make jokes about it, but.
Let me give you $5.
Yeah, he did. Pioneer Polly and Dan Hurd are on YouTube. They post videos looking for gold. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of YouTubers and stuff and people that talk about gold and all that. It's kind of a fantasy. The golden age is gone now. There was a time when there was lots of gold around, and prospectors go out and find creeks and stuff that nobody's panned in, and there's gold. And but them guys are pretty smart, and most of that gold's been gone for a long time. The people today that look for gold, they'd be lucky if they even pay for the equipment that they use to go looking for gold. Yeah. How much snow is there in Grand Forks? There's well, you can see it. Not much right now. Probably, I don't know, probably less than 4 inches, maybe. Yeah, not very much. And it's probably just around freezing or something. It actually was rained here a little bit. So in the back country, there's quite a bit more snow. So we're in a low alley or a low valley here. Actually, I can show you I'll take you for a little tour if you want to see what it looks like around here. We're in a low valley here. As you get further up in the country, it's quite a bit more snow. You get maybe 10 feet of snow in the back country. Here, you never get more than maybe a couple of feet of snow. So, okay, we can show you. Oh, there's a bunch of geese that are flying up over my hayfield. Those are Canada geese. They're flying my hayfield. So if you look that way, that's where Phoenix would be, and a bunch of the mines. There we are. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably can. So the museum is behind us. We were wanting to do a live broadcast from it, but we don't get very good reception that far away. How long do you think you can keep this up? 5 years or more? I don't know. Like I'm 58 now, but I think I'm probably in the best shape that I've ever been, maybe in my life. So as far as hiking and stuff, so I don't see. My dad, he died at 78, and he was still hiking and stuff quite a bit. So probably quite a while. What might happen is maybe I don't know. As you go on in life, you get interested in different things. If we end up working with some broadcasters and doing some stuff for TV or something else, we might just start doing more of that. I don't know. It's hard to say what. Sharon, why does Frank always send you down first? I don't actually always.
Sometimes I want to go first.
If we're doing some rope stuff, I generally send her down first because then I kind of check all her rigging and she can go down first. If we're going in walking somewhere, especially if it's tight or it's wet or something, I would always go first. So with the climbing, it's just because got to make sure everything's all rigged up properly and she can go ahead of me. So, and she's pretty comfortable with that. So, wow, what a view to wake up to every day. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a nice area here. If you find a golden nugget, do you get the money into your bank and do you pay taxes on it when you sell it? Well, I don't know how we would ever find a gold nugget. That's from panning and stuff. We don't do much of that. No, if you find it, you can keep it. So nobody would know about it. Beautiful. Nearest neighbors. We have neighbors across the street, I guess. I don't know, a couple 100 meters away.
We have 25 acres.
Yeah, we have 25 acres, 25 and a half acres here. So it's only 5 minutes from the city. So yes, we did see them as well, heard them. The geese, yeah, the geese were flying.
What hours is the museum open in the summer? We're from Surrey, BC. We'd like to come up for a visit sometime.
It's pretty much open all the time. We don't have hours for it because we don't really have that many people that come to the museum. Probably, maybe a person a week or so. So I kind of put my phone number out there, and anyone give me a call, say if you're around, I'd like to come by. So, somebody actually emailed me this morning that they're homeschooling their kid and they're interested in mining and they wanted, from Grand Forks and they wanted to come have a look. And I said, well, there's my number. Give me a call when you want to come. So, we can, we don't know what we're doing. If we're traveling, then we're not going to be here. But if we're here, pretty much anytime we could open the museum and give you a tour of it. Frank, will you ever go back to Antioch? It's possible. Probably more likely to happen if a broadcaster or a show or something wants to go do something there. We've been there 3 times, so we don't have any plans to go back, but we have good connections there, and we may go there at some point. It's a pretty hostile environment. It's either they get a huge amount of snow there in the wintertime and it's pouring rain all the time, and and it's a difficult place to get to also, right? So goose dinner for Thanksgiving. We already had Thanksgiving. I know you guys are behind in the States. You have later Thanksgiving. Do you farm your land? Yeah, I do. So I cut hay here. So that kind of holds us back in the wintertime a little bit. So I've got irrigation here. So I cut 3 crops or 2 crops only this year. But those big round bales of alfalfa to people that have horses and cows and stuff. So we probably make a fair bit of a living actually farming. It's only 25 acres. It's like a hobby farm to me. I had a couple thousand acres up north, but it has irrigation here. So you have to move the irrigation every day in the summer. It's pretty hot here, so it doesn't take long, but we do that. Good evening from Finland. No snow here. Well, you guys are supposed to have lots of snow in Finland, no? Ever been to Britannia Beach? No, there's mines there. I sent them an email. I wanted to go for a little tour there and put it on YouTube, but they ignored me, so I haven't been there. We may go there someday. I hear there's some attis you can get into above the mine tour, so we'll see.
Can you show your finds? What does that mean?
Um,
Show your museum at the end of, we'll do a video.
yeah, we're gonna do a year-end special or something, so we're gonna go for a tour of the museum. So we'll show you all the stuff that we have and the changes and stuff that we're doing there. When you go looking for gold, how much do you find on an average day? Well, that's like saying if you go for driving your car, how far would you drive in an average day? Yeah, there's no answer to that question.
We don't find
Most people that are going to the gold pan, do a little bit of panning, they'd be lucky if they get a little couple little specks worth a few dollars.
What are ram pumps? Do you run any ram pumps on your farm?
I don't know what a ram pump is, so no, I've never heard of a ram pump.
Do you do anything else professionally?
Professionally, yeah, I was a cattle rancher. I had a couple thousand acres and ran about 175 head of cattle. And then in my spare time in the wintertime, when I wasn't busy enough doing that, worked in the oil patch, trucking. I had trucks most of my life. And then I've had 4 sawmills. So so it's self-loading logging trucks, sawmilling, ranching, trucking, and then run equipment and stuff like that too. What happened to your eye? Oh, I got smacked by a timber. I was doing some work in the museum there, jacking a part of a tram, and it slipped out and smacked me a little bit. I think stripping items off that 1800 steam shovel was wrong. Take all you want out of old mines, will eventually collapse. Old shovel's a treasure and doesn't belong to you. Well, we didn't strip any items from it. There was a few things laying around. Nobody's seen it for 100 years. The whistle in particular, we're just holding on to it. We'd be happy to give it to anyone that wanted it, that was going to restore it. So it's just laying in the bush on the dirt there. So it's just going to get lost. Canadian geese, they're in Canada. Oh, they're in the States too. We see them in the States. Do you have a dinosaur? Do you have dinosaurs? No. Where'd you get your mining experience knowledge? I guess the School of Hard Knocks. I mean, hundreds of mines, and actually, we learned a lot of stuff from people that watch the show. A lot of miners, historians, and stuff watch that and did some research. And we see a machiner and say it did this, and find out we're wrong. We get corrected, and we learn that way as we go along. So basically, what I'm kind of good at is going to a mine and kind of looking around and figuring out how they got the ore out, how the procedure of that. I'm not an expert on minerals and that kind of stuff, but just powers of observation. You kind of see how stuff was mined, and lots of people talk to me over the years. So looking forward to seeing your tram. Yeah.
Where's your next explore, or are you waiting until COVID is over?
I don't know. See, the problem with that kind of will be around here. Well, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we shot in the Yukon coming down. So from Faro, Keno City, and Carcross, and then more stuff around Ainsworth. So we kind of talk about stuff we've done already. We don't like to talk about stuff we're gonna do because it kind of maybe sometimes roadblocks go up before you've done something. So you're better off to do it first and then talk about it later. Let's put it that way. If you could give the 20-year-old some advice, what would you say? Any other younger person? Don't start smoking. How much research do you do before you go into a mine? Sometimes a lot, sometimes none. Sometimes it's just a certain area or something you go into, and you go around there, and that's the big advantage of going in the summertime. Then you can see the waste rock piles. We're not interested in small mines. There's all kinds of small mines everywhere. They're boring. They're not even worth videotaping. Any farm animals? No, we don't have any animals at all. We don't have a cat, dog, nothing like that, because we like to be pretty flexible and be able to go, for a month or two and just lock the door and leave the house. So, yeah, it just ties you down. We like to travel and explore mines, and the animals keep you from doing that. Geology is far from the only thing that happens in a mine. I salute your courage and some of the old drifts and shafts. Oh, thanks. Love the through shovel from the records. They were able to trace it down. It was one of two sold in the Yukon. Yeah, so that was serial number 69, and serial 70 went up there too. And so what happened was, originally there was something called, because they had a lot of plastic gold in the Yukon. So this company, the Yukon Gold Company, I think, or something like that, they had this plan to have these big channels and stuff to bring water out of the mountains higher up to Dawson, to the Hunker Creek area, and they used that to run their dredges. So they made electricity out of that. Most of the dredges were electric. They needed a lot of power to run the big electric dredges, and also to do monitoring, right? So they had to thaw the water, the gravel out. So they used high pressure water to wash the muck off the top and to thaw the gravel out. So they spent $3 million. They bought 6 shovels. They brought them up there and did all that. And after they were done that, the through shovels were sold to other interests. So the one that we found wasn't actually working on the Yukon ditch when it was abandoned. It was sold to somebody else, and they worked on another project up in the area. That's where we found it. Is it expensive to have internet connection where you live compared to the city? No, actually, we have we got way better internet than we found anywhere in the United States. When we traveled to the United States, the internet was terrible. Even in a large city and stuff, what they call high speed. We have fiber optic service here, really fast internet. It cost us about $100 a month for TV and our internet. So we get really. I can upload one of my videos, which is a half-hour video, in I don't know 15 minutes or so. In the States, I think the fastest we could ever upload a video was about 3 hours, and we went to a big city somewhere. So, which is kind of surprised us. So we have really good internet service here. Any human skeleton parts ever found? Any explorations? No, we've never found anything like that. Lots of animal bones and stuff, not from people. I think the dangers of people of lost and buried and left in mines are as exaggerated. There's been some really bad mining tragedies, mostly coal mines, explosions and stuff where there's been a lot of bodies, but they've always taken them all out after it was done, and buried them properly. People, the miners are respectful to human life and stuff like that, for the most part. If you're at a mine collapse on you, if you go through and if you touch something loose on the back, you have small cave-ins, or if you're going up kind of a steep area, stuff will cave down into you. Nothing dramatic, or just kind of a little exciting, but nothing really crazy. You come back to Arizona, the Bradshaw Mountains are full of old mines. Yeah, we definitely, Arizona's been a great place for exploring mines. The only thing about Arizona is that if you go to Arizona, and same with Mexico, you're not seeing so much for artifacts, because there's so many people that actually go into the mines, and pretty much anyone that goes and visits a mine and they see something cool, they pick it up and take it home, which is okay. I don't complain about that, but so you just don't see a lot of stuff left around in Arizona, because there's so many tourists that are up there. So you get in some of the more remote places in Nevada, and then especially if you start roping down into stuff, then you're going to see a lot more interesting stuff that's around there. So, have you thought about taking a metal detector inside some of the mines? Well, to find gold that the miners miss, you'd never find. It's very rare that there's any visible gold in hard rock mines. You'd only see like visible gold in a placer and the gravels and creeks and stuff like that. In mines, typically the gold is microscopic. You're not going to see it like that. Do you think you'll ever return to Utah, explore mines there? Possibly. I don't know. Utah is not the most richest place to find mines that I know. Like Nevada and Arizona. New Mexico seem to be, even Montana. There's all kinds of cool places where you can go exploring mines. So possibly. I've heard they found lots of bones when they used monitors on the sides of the muskeg. Yeah, well, the muskeg is totally frozen up there in permafrost. So so we did a lot of talk about global warming and stuff, but it was way warmer 10,000 years ago. So up there was all kind of swampy and muskeg, and there was uh, lots of these animals and stuff up there. And then they died, and it got colder, and they all got frozen in the stuff and preserved them. So how the heck do you find info on those old shovels? They're over 100 years old. Well, what happened with that one in particular is somebody flew over it and they saw it, and then they snowshoed into it and they found it. So we knew where it was, and then we used the drone and we flew over that area and we were able to locate it. And with GPS, we went in and found it. Any dates found in mines? If so, what's the earliest date? Well, miners, when they had carbide lamps, lots of times at the end of the mine, at the face, they would take in carbide and black, they would write their name and a date in there. So you see that lots. And those dates are typically in, I don't know if we found any in the 1800s, but the early 1900s, 100, 120 years ago. And also people that explore them. So you ever run into wild animals? The coolest thing we found was a miner's cat. We found a few in Arizona. They're the size of a house cat. Their tail's like striped like a raccoon. Their face looks like a chinchilla. They're real friendly. They're really cool. And other than that, we found porcupine in a mine. Lots of rats in mines. Bats and rats, cats. Bats, rats, and cats. Yeah. Have you ever been in many Alaskan mines? No, I've never been to Alaska. We couldn't get into Alaska when we were up north. The border was closed. Just wanted to say thank you for sharing the amazing places, machines with us. Watch every week. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and so all the support that we get from, and like I say, if you guys like the videos, it kind of helps us out quite a bit because it goes up higher in the ranking than YouTube. The way the success on YouTube is depend them recommending your content to other people that haven't seen it. So when you guys watch our stuff and you give us a thumbs up, then it helps the metrics of that, and then they recommend them to more people, and then more people see it, and that's how we've been able to be successful on YouTube because people watch it and they like the content. So thanks for liking our content. Helps. Have you ever explored a uranium mine? No, not that I know of. How many barking spiders do you usually encounter in a mine, Sharon? We've got a lot in our bed too, in the house. You ever had any? And most of that's just with swallowing air. So some reason I eat really fast and it swallows a lot of air. So that's how that breeds barking spiders.
Okay.
If you ever had any close calls with rope anchors failing or climbing gear breaking? No, and there's something I worried about, and I thought, well, maybe it was kind of unjustified fear about rats chewing ropes, but there has been quite a bit of evidence for cavers where they've had rats chewing right through ropes. So, if you're by yourself and you tie up somewhere and you go down, you're down quite a long ways and you're not coming back up for a while. And then if the rat chewed your rope, you might not be able to get out. So that I haven't had that happen, but it's something I worried about. It's not an unfounded fear. The ropes that we use, they're good for about 8,000 pounds, and we only weigh maybe 250 or something, or 300 very most with all your gear on. So what we're doing, we're climbing with I'm using a static rope, so we're putting all our weight on it and using all your weight going down. It's not like when you're rock climbing where you're just climbing up, and if you slip, you would fall, say 10 or 15 feet, and then hit the end of the rope. That puts a lot of stress on a rope, and you'd use dynamic ropes for that. So with a static rope, you've got a really large safety factor, and if it gets scuffed a little bit or someone runs over the rope, it's not going to make a huge difference. So, well, maybe it'll only hold 4,000 instead of 8,000 pounds, but not something you're going to have a problem with. We want to know where all the gold is. Have you ever seen some really good stuff? Well, we've seen some really good stuff in the Long Tom when they're doing the cleanup of in the Yukon. That's where that's the only place we've ever really seen gold. So. And there's lots there. And I tried to grab some. And they said, "Oh, fingers off. Don't touch that." Got hecked, right?
Yep, you did.
Carbide lamps invented in 1905.
Says you're getting me in trouble with the wife. I'm on a mean binge with your vids. New to the channel, and I'm hooked.
Well, just tell her, it's good. It's keeping you from watching porn. So maybe it's not me. I believe that's called Dutch oven. Yeah. My dad used. Good thing my shit don't stink. My dad used to tell me some stories of uranium mines in southern Utah. How deep can a metal detector find gold? It depends on metal detectors. They got some pretty fancy ones that are pretty good, I guess. If you're into metal detecting, if you're up in the Yukon where you got all those dredge piles, so the dredge it filters out and washes the bigger rocks just go out the end of the trommel and out the tailings conveyor, and only the smaller stuff actually goes through the sluice runs. So if there were bigger nuggets, it would just run right out with all the waste rock. So theoretically, if there's a big nugget, you could, theoretically be walking along with a metal detector on top of those old dredge piles and find a big nugget. That could happen. I don't know how common that is or how likely it is, but it's possible. How often do you inspect or tag out and replace your ropes and equipment? So we're pretty hard on our ropes. People say, well, it should be protected, but you're going down a whole bunch of places. I mean, it gets wore out after a while. So what happens is the kerr mantle, which is the very outside of the rope, is only responsible for about 15% of it. The rope is like a parachute cords. It'll have like about 13 or 14 really strong cords. Any one of them could hold your weight. So when the kerr mantle gets damaged and it doesn't go over very much, then we end up cutting the rope and making it shorter ropes out of it, or make two ropes out of it. So once the outside gets damaged and stuff, they get replaced. So wait, you can't touch gold in the Yukon? Oh well, we were filming a crew that was doing a cleanup, and it's their gold, and they're cleaning it up, and they didn't want me touching their gold. Maybe they thought I was going to grab a bunch and put it in my pocket. I don't know. It's just bad manners, to do that, I guess. And maybe I don't have really good manners. If you want to apply graphics to some videos, I would really like to. It would really add to the quality. I imagine a 3D dimensional image of the last dredge. I'm not really much of a computer geek, so I haven't a hard enough time just figured out how to do a live broadcast. So there's all kinds of stuff that you do that would improve the videos, and it's beyond my scope. In another YouTuber's video, I saw miners graffiti with Finnish names. I finally looked them up and was able to locate them as working immigrants from Finland. Yeah, I mean, you see, lots of times people do that. They just they used to in the old days when they got to the end of the mine, they would just write their name down and a date or something. The miners and stuff did that, and also people that explored mines, they did that just for the fun of it. Thank you for a great channel. It's been there for many years already. You're welcome. We're watching some of our videos on our TV, and if you can do that, if you can get your YouTube on your TV, we're actually surprised how good the quality of the picture stuff is on the more recent stuff. On the really old stuff, we didn't have that good of a camera, and it was poor. But you guys, if you haven't tried that, you can do it. Try watching it on a big screen. It's pretty amazing how good the quality is. When did you get interested in mine exploration? Basically, just flying over the big Phoenix mine here with my plane, and you're just seeing how massive it was and how many holes in it. I like exploring stuff and adventure and hiking and stuff, and that's what kind of got me interested in it. How did you and Sharon meet? We actually met on the internet. So besides finding gold, what else do you do for a living? That's about it. I mean, I had a big cattle ranch and I retired. So, we have 25 acres here, so we still sell some hay from that. And I don't find any gold. I never made a nickel off of gold. I make a little bit of money off of the YouTube from you guys watching there's ads on YouTube, and I get 40% of the ad revenue. So it actually pays for most of our expenses for traveling around. When I sold my ranch, I had a little money that I invested, and we do a little bit of haying and a little bit of money from YouTube. So it all adds up. So we spend quite a bit of money on the museum, buying stuff and refurnishing stuff and that. But so we don't charge any admission for the museum. People give us donations. They've been pretty generous with that. So it all adds up. But I don't actually have a 9-to-5 job anymore. Do you inform external parties on locations and return times on both you and Sharon together for safety purposes? No, because when you go somewhere, you never know where you're going or how long you're going to be gone for, which is kind of a real kind of a pain. I mean, if you tell someone you're going to be back by such and such time, you find something real interesting, then you got to leave. So I have a spot tracker, so that would call 911 in case of search and rescue. But it's all. I mean, nothing's ever happened. The whole 6 years that I've been doing this, I never had to be rescued or nothing ever really happened. So I wouldn't really worry about it all that much. And lots of times cell phones work. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's been great watching your channel over the years, from Max to Gly, Gabe, now Sharon. The quality's improved, but so has your choice of companions.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah. Well, thank you. You're making us blush here. Yeah, Sharon's much nicer than the dog I used to have.
Wow.
Well, he said Max first and Sharon last. What an asshole. Sharon, you're very brave going down those mines on the end of a rope. Yikes. You're inspiring to me. I'm afraid of heights. I never do that, but I can explore around outside, stay safe. Yeah, no, it's been really interesting over the years, meeting so many people, and most of it's like someone says, "Oh, they know there's some mines somewhere where they are or whatever," and then they just bring me along. Maybe they haven't been in the mine, and that's been the best way. It's cool because guys get to see some fresh faces and meet some interesting characters and see some cool mines. So, all right, guys. So I guess we've been about an hour and a half, and we just thought we'd try doing a broadcast on Saturday because it allows more people from around the world, different time zones, to see what we're doing and answer some questions. Why did you change from Friday to Saturday postings? I don't know. We did a bunch of research on YouTube, and they thought that that was going to be better. It really didn't make any difference. It used to be Thursday at one time. Oh, no, I was never Saturday. I was Thursday and then Friday, but I don't know.
Saturday used to be Saturday mornings.
Yeah, whatever. Did different things. It didn't make much difference. So. Okay, bye, Elizabeth. Goodbye. Hope you guys have a good Saturday. And so we're done with all our stuff in Yukon. We're going to Keno City next couple of weeks, and we'll carry on. And I hope to see you guys soon sometime. Thank you for all your support. Have a good day. Goodbye. Wave.